Here at Helmuth Ford, we are a small-town dealership with no hassle and no pressure.
The Garden Gate at 105 South Jefferson Street in Sigourney, proudly serving Keokuk County and the surrounding area for over 27 years. Give Cindy a call at 641-622-3191. Hours are Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, Saturday, 9 to noon. Stop into the Garden Gate for fresh floral arrangements, jewelry, home decor, sympathy gifts. They even have Hawkeye and Cyclone items. They've got something for everyone. It's the Garden Gate on the east side of the square in Sigourney. And welcome into a Saturday morning edition of the Sports Section. We are live from Barnwired at 119 East Marion in Sigourney on a cold Saturday morning. You can get in here for some warm breakfast and coffee to get you going on your Saturday, this first Saturday in January, and we are doing the Sports Section. We do have a guest host for today, the guy that just can't get enough of me here lately. We've been spending so much time together doing basketball games. We've got Josh Clubb in as host today, and Josh, we're going to kick things off this morning with Pekin boys basketball. I'll throw it to you.
All righty, thanks, Steve. And yes, very cold this morning. We got Coach Swanson here from Pekin basketball, as well as Riley Smith and Nolan Glick. So a couple of the varsity players for the boys basketball. And Coach, I'll just start it off with. I looked it up. I didn't see the score from last night. How'd it go against Highland last night?
Went well for us. Final score. I can't give you the exact score either. We doubled them up. We're in the 70s. I believe they're in the 30s, and running clock late in the game, and really took a commanding lead in the first quarter. I think final after the first quarter was maybe 24-2. So got out to a good start and really carried it through the rest of the game, and got a nice W on the road.
Good. So you're starting out right off winter break, 2 wins in a row. So get some momentum going into the month of January, which all three of the teams here, basketball teams, big grind in the month of January. A lot of games in the next 2 to 3 weeks. So currently you're sitting at 4-2 in the conference, 4-3 overall. Winning record, 2 wins in a row. And what's upcoming here for Pekin this next week? And I don't think we're covering a Pekin game. We're typically cover Pekin and Sigourney and North Mahaska, but yeah. So
we started the year off early with the game on Thursday night, and a lot of teams were playing last night and Saturday and tonight. So that was nice to get that one in on Thursday when several teams weren't playing. The weather was a little sketchy, but everybody made it out to Pekin, got a nice win. Got the win last night, of course, on the road to Highland. Next week we got Winfield at home. We go on the road to Wapello next Friday, and then here in Sigourney next Saturday, mid-afternoon game. So things are going to change. Definitely competition's going to ramp up. And then, yeah, absolutely, we're going to get very busy here in January.
All right. Since you mentioned it, we'll just stick to it for a second for the maybe the folks that didn't tune into the basketball game on Thursday. But when Pekin and Sigourney meet, it's a Saturday. It's a matinee game. It's typically, there's a little bit more than just the basketball game going on, but I've attended those. It's a pretty unique Saturday, and Sigourney and Pekin, very close communities to each other. So just talk about that game, anything that goes along with that.
Yeah, absolutely. When you got two schools only separated by 10 or 12 miles, everybody knows each other. We got coaches at Pekin, teachers at Pekin that live in Sigourney, and vice versa. It's a lot of familiarity there. I know Mitch really well, and we talk quite a bit off the court about hoops and kids and whatnot. So really always look forward to it. We don't have a lot of short road trips or rivalry games, so it's really good for us. Driving just a few miles, you ask these guys, we're used to driving an hour to hour and a half for our conference games, so it's nice to have a close one, and should be a lot of fun.
All righty. With that, we'll turn attention over to these two young athletes here. Let's start with Riley. We talked to Coach at the halftime of the girls' game on Thursday, and just kind of asked him who's one of those called underclassmen, if you will, that's kind of stepped up. He mentioned your name, and so how's this basketball season, I think, for you? How do you feel it's going, and what do you feel you've improved upon the most?
I would say that I'm more like I've came in from last year of just sitting on the bench and kind of like waiting to get in till the end of the game. But now I'm going in like first and second quarter and getting more playing time than I was last year. And got really hot over Christmas break and just hoping to see more playing time.
Alrighty, yeah. I've noticed that too. You know, the first couple games of the year, didn't see you get out on the floor much, but then even just Thursday night, you know, you had a lot more time on the floor. Of course, looks like you're the kind of that first man up with when any fouls come into play or when a change up is needed. So seems like you're doing well out there. What's your favorite moment so far this season? What for you personally? It could be a JV game if you suit up for JV, or it could be a varsity game. What's something that's kind of stuck in your mind so far this year?
Probably the scrimmage over Christmas break. I guess we did really good against a pretty good athletic team, but there's still more to come this season. But also Cole Milliken, you also had him. He's been getting hot, and he made like 4 in a row one of our first games, and I guess that was pretty cool.
Okay. All right. Yes, Cole Milliken, he had a pretty nice night on Thursday night too. But we'll transition over here to Nolan. Nolan, we've selected you before as our player of the game on Steve Schottler Media. I think it was against Hillcrest, I do believe, if I remember right. But so far this year, you're averaging just over 11 points a game, shooting over 50% from the field, averaging 4 rebounds per game, 25 total, kind of split offensively and defensively. What do you feel like your biggest growth point coming into this season is?
I feel like I've got a lot more physical down in the paint, kind of transitioned to more of a big guy than rather out in the wing.
Okay. With that too, you know, it's funny because we covered obviously Pekin football, and there's a lot of times where you have there was the Will Adam handing it off to Nolan Glick or Henry Adam. We get a lot of that in the basketball with U3. What is it? Pekin's a smaller school, obviously, so you guys are a lot more than teammates. Obviously, I'm sure you're friends off the court and everything like that. What's your team chemistry like here with the basketball team and some of the people you play multiple sports with?
Well, I think like everyone gets along because we're always with them, all 4 sports all year round.
All right. Coach Swanson, I guess when the year started, every team has goals, like targets, if you will. What are some of those that you guys are trying to accomplish this year, outside of the obvious of everybody's ultimate goal would be a state championship? But what are some of the things that you wanted to focus in on, and this is what we're going to do, and this is what we're going to do well?
This team this year, we're kind of blending a lot of young guys with some more experienced guys, and so we're constantly growing. We talk about, most teams talk about goals. We talk about destinations, where we want to be at this point in the season, at this point, and then obviously be playing your best basketball towards the end of the year, heading into tournaments. So we talk about that a lot, especially here lately. It seems like we're just trying to come together more and more. Definitely had a Christmas break and things we worked on. So, this team this year, I really think, sky's the limit for them. We're still figuring some things out, but I've really been happy with the way we've come together defensively coming out of Christmas break. And, past years, if you go back, post-COVID, 2021 was our last conference title. And since then, we've really been hanging around 500. Year to year and been competitive, but haven't been able to really win those games against really good teams and advance in the tournament. So I think that's obviously the ultimate goal. But right now we're just looking ahead to next week, and we're 5-3 and keep the train rolling.
All righty. Well, with that, let's transition off of basketball a little bit. Just fresh off a winter break, I'll ask Nolan and Riley here. Did you guys get everything you wanted for Christmas? It's the most important question of the interview.
I guess.
You don't have to tell us everything you got. It's just in general.
Yeah, I got some good presents. I got some new clothes and stuff.
All right. How about you, Nolan? Everything Christmas good?
Got
Spend
most
time
things
with
I
your
need.
family.
Got to spend a lot of time with family and John at practice.
All righty. I think that's all I got for
The
questions.
gift that keeps on giving.
It
Coach
is.
Swanson.
Coach Swanson. Yeah.
How about this? Now, Andy McGuire is our normal host here on the sports section, and he always asks the guys, the players, what is your jam before the game? What music gets you guys going before the game for Pekin boys basketball? Is there a certain playlist going on in the locker room, or any certain music that gets you going? Either one of you can answer that.
I mean, Durf.
Durf.
Not a musician.
He has some good playlists, and you'd ask Nolan about his playlist.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we listen to a lot of weird songs, but it gets us going.
Are you talking about Mr. Durflinger on the basketball team? Because I did award. I gave him an award, an unofficial award, the other night during the basketball broadcast for having the best hair on the court. And any comments on Mr. Durflinger's hair?
Yeah. Over Christmas break, we were giving him a lot of grief about being in the Last Supper, being one of the disciples. So if he shows up in a white robe one of these days, I don't know what I'm going to do with him. So yeah, Durf likes to have a good time and brings a lot of energy to practice and bus rides. Spends a lot of money at the gas stations after games as well. So, yep, he's our unofficial DJ for sure.
All righty.
And then also just kind of a general comment, and coach or whoever can follow up on it. But as far as the Pekin boys, now of course we did Pekin boys football in the fall, and on the basketball, coach, I don't know. As far as it doesn't matter as far as basketball skills, but I don't think that there's going to be anybody probably in the state that's going to out-athlete your players, if you know what I mean. I mean, you have got a roster full of great athletes. They showed it on the football field, and of course they show it on the basketball court as well.
Yeah, absolutely. We got a lot of good kids at Pekin right now. Good group of guys have had success, obviously in track, had some success in baseball, last spring and summer, and then obviously carried that in the football field with Coach Weber's team this year. And we struggled the last few years in basketball and kind of regrouping here and bringing these guys in, and they're learning on the fly. And I got to give a lot of credit to Coach Weber for coming in and building a great weight program, and these guys really bought into what he's teaching there and got after it. So, and we're seeing the results, reaping the benefits now.
Yeah, awesome. Well, Pekin boys, let's get a quick picture of you. Josh, you can scooch in there and be part of this. 3, 2, and 1. Okay. Pekin boys basketball. Appreciate you guys coming in on this cold Saturday morning. And you are good to go. We've got Sigourney girls basketball coming in next. Let's hear from some of our sponsors.
Attention Iowa business owners. Is your business missing sales because you're too busy to follow up? Every missed call or delayed message could be costing you money. At Easy Biz Tech, we help local businesses stay ahead by automating customer follow-up, so no lead gets left behind. Missed a call? Our system texts back instantly. Need personalized outreach? We send automated texts, emails, and even use AI-powered voice agents to connect with your customers 24/7. Stop losing money because of slow follow-up. Contact Easy Biz Tech today, where Iowa businesses win online.
Are you looking for the perfect holiday gift for a friend, colleague, relative, or hostess? An Iowa wine from Tassel Ridge Winery is an excellent place to start. Red, white, and blue and blackberry are very popular among sweet wine lovers, while fans of white wine love our award-winning Kennel White and Brianna. For people who prefer pink semi-sweet wine, we offer Steuben and 8 other rosés. Dry wine lovers like our 2021 Iowa Petite Pearl. Tassel Ridge wines are available at the winery and at 350 retail outlets located all over Iowa.
All right. We do thank our sponsors for making Sports Section possible here on Steve Shetler Media on a Saturday morning from Barn Wired. What we're looking at on the screen right now are players of the game from last night's games. I tell you what, Sigourney was at Linville-Sully. We had the audio broadcast last night. What a couple of crazy games last night. Both the boys and girls games came down to the wire. Unfortunately for Sigourney fans, Sigourney came up just short in both games. We were looking at the Sigourney boys player of the game from last night. That was Isaac Bruns. And then we've got our Sigourney girls player of the game from last night. Had a fantastic game last night, Josephine Moore. On the screen there. So congratulations to those two players. We do welcome in Sigourney girls basketball at this time. Again, after that heartbreaking loss last night, we appreciate you guys coming in and regrouping and being part of the show this morning. Josh, I'll let you take it from here.
All right, well, we'll just stick on that subject of that game last night and Coach Kaylee Weber, who we got with us, Joe Moore, we got Bryn Clarahan, Devin Smallwood, and Addie Trimmel. So, Coach Weber, let's start with that game last night. So yes, it ended up not in your favor. However, as we were watching the game from up in the stands, the intensity of the game, the play of the girls, there was no quit. They just kept building and building and building and chipping away at the early lead that Linville-Sully built up. I guess what were the conversations either at halftime or on the sideline? What got that fight out of the girls to keep going?
Yeah, so I kind of told them, at practice we work every day to finish plays, to not give up, to finish through the line, everything like that. At halftime, I kind of chewed them out. I'm not going to lie. We weren't playing our best basketball. I don't even think we played our best basketball in the second half. But I don't know if it's because I yelled at them or what, but they like to come out in the third quarter and provide a really strong third quarter, and I think they did that, which helped. If we stay out of a little bit more foul trouble in the first half, that game might have ended differently, but, you can't change it now. And then at the end of the game, we had 2 really good looks, which doesn't happen often. So I'm really proud of them for executing how I asked. Like I said, shots didn't fall, but I'm really proud of them for how they kept fighting through the whole game, even being down 20-21 at halftime. So. Sure.
Yeah, and that's all really a coach can ask of their players is, you have the opportunity, right? You're in a position at the end of the game to win the game, and that's the ultimate goal. And then, was there concern because that's winter break? We talked to Coach Swanson from Pekin about this before their game Thursday. Coming out of winter break, there's always that. I don't know what you call it, just for lack of better terms, lack of energy, because everybody knows what people do on winter break, and you disrupt your schedule. So was that something that you were kind of keying on prior to the game last night?
It was definitely a concern.
Okay.
I don't want to kill them with running all through break, but you kind of have to. We had a scrimmage on Tuesday at Washington, so they ran a lot that day. So, I kind of took it easy because I knew last night was going to be a dogfight. So I'm really glad they had school, though. That is one thing. I'm glad they had school and didn't have school because they would have been a lot worse.
All right, let's relive the final moments of the game last night quickly. We did audio only. I don't know if there was a live stream that people could tune into, but for those that couldn't see it, basically was it 4 seconds left? And for those that don't know, both girls and boys games came down to a final shot, one by us, one by Sigourney, one by Linville-Sully. We unfortunately came up just a bit short, but with the final play, you had Bren running down the floor and a pass to her. It almost looked like the pass actually went over her head and forced her into the corner. Was that the plan to get her to the corner, or was the plan to get her a quick shot at the hoop?
Yeah, so the plan was to just take the best shot possible. So if you ask McKinley, she's going to say that was her fault. But, she had a big girl on her in the inbound, and then the natural spin off your hand when you throw the ball down that floor that far. So it was just to get it down the floor. I really figured that they would all just wait for us at half court. So I was trying to plan accordingly, and they didn't. So I'm really glad my play worked. But it was just to get the best look possible and get a shot off. And both of my plays was to get a shot off, because you can't win if you don't score.
Sure. And yeah, it ultimately worked out. I mean, yeah, to say, and Nathan Wood was with us last night doing color, and he actually kind of he read your mind a little bit on what you were dialing up or trying to dial up, as he kind of said the same thing. You know, just got to find a way to get anybody somewhat of a makeable shot. And unfortunately, Bren's sitting to my right. You know, you didn't come up with a shot, but it was right there. I mean, it's as good as you can ask for. So did you know coming off your hand that was gonna miss, or did you think that was still going in?
Yeah, I mean, I knew there was 3 seconds on the clock, so I'm like, I got to get it off fast. I was in the corner. It's kind of like an awkward spot. I was kind of like, I feel like probably behind the backboard a little bit. So I kind of just took a gather dribble, and then it was not a good shot at all. I knew coming off my fingertips, I'm like, that's not going in. But I mean, whatever, it'll fall some point. So.
Sure. Yeah, and that's what it came down to. I mean, the missed shot, Kaylee hit it on the head before, though. You know, you guys got yourself back into an opportunity to win. I think you were down by, if I remember right, I think maybe 19 at halftime. So battling back from 19, and it wasn't an immediate surge or anything. It was, you just slowly chipped away at it, and then, you know, next thing you know, there's 2 minutes left, and it's like, oh, you're back within single digits, and then there's a minute left, and you're within a couple of scores, and then the last 30 seconds or so, you played with a one-possession game. So props to all you, or props to your team for continuing to battle and get back in that spot. On the lighter side of last night, I do have to ask what the message was to Miss Bailey Grutter, who had a little bit of a mental hiccup on a rebound for a free throw and scored a basket for Linville Sully. From what I saw, you guys kind of just laughed it off and moved on, which is probably the best thing to do in that scenario.
Well, you know, that's what we portrayed. I don't think Bailey actually had that going through her mind. She said she looked up at her parents, and they were screaming at her. She was really upset after the game. She... granted, it wasn't, the whole game was not her fault. She thinks it is. Obviously, everyone's going to do that. But I'm just proud she made the layup, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to look at the bright side. She got the rebound and made a layup. It happens. It's not ideal, obviously,
No.
but it happens. I'm glad she was able to laugh it off on the court and not throw a fit and cry and let it affect the defense.
Yeah, and that is a tough spot, and if Bailey listens in today, just know, Bailey, everybody makes mistakes. Games don't come down to one play. It's it's a whole hour and a half of playing time. Yep. Transition over here to Josephine. We select you as a player of a game. These are unofficial stats. This is me keeping score during a game, and I'm not at all, is it right? But I had you down for 30 points, 16 for 18 at the free throw line. So I guess that's a great game. 30 points and that many times at the line. I mean, it just seemed like the whole second half you lived at the free throw line. So just take us through how did you, or what was different about last night that you were able to really light up the scoreboard?
Well, usually I don't drive to the hoop very often, but last night that was really working. I was drawing fouls and making baskets, and then I went to the free throw line, and making free throws and shooting free throws is very important, and we do it a lot at practice. And I worked when I was younger with my dad. We shot a lot of free throws.
All right, yeah, and that's 18 of your 30 points came, or 16 of your 30 points came from the free throw line, again unofficially. So. Very important skill to continue to work on for any young basketball players that are especially getting ready for the varsity level. It's easy to work on your free throws. Do it all the time. So let's transition to some of the girls in the back here. So Devin and Addie. I think Devin primarily. Play JV. I've seen you on the varsity floor just a little bit, but primarily a JV, just a freshman also. So just take us through how's everything going for you on the JV season thus far?
It's going good. I mean, a lot of good things are happening. A lot of stuff isn't going our way, but that's just stuff that we need to work on and just learn from. So things, I don't know. Things are going good for all of us, I'd say, but there's certain stuff that we just need to work on and find our chemistry together on the floor.
All right. And how about for you, Addie? Similar question. I've seen you on the varsity floor as well, so you're kind of playing both games there. Yeah. So that, little extra playing time more playing time than others on the floor. So how is it? What is it that you're working on to try to improve?
Just working as a team. I think we all have things that we can get better as, and obviously JVs to grow. You have varsity coming up, and I think it's just a great place to just get better.
All right, very good. Okay, Coach, so you have the last 2 games, very tough competition, and unfortunately 2 losses with Montezuma and Linville Sully. Got another tough one on the horizon because you guys have a game Monday. Tuesday. So your next game is Tuesday. Another tough outing as you travel to North Mahaska and taking on the Warhawks, who I believe are number 2 right now in this Class 2A. Very good team. So what's your preparation now? We're back from winter break. You guys had to go back to school yesterday for one day and you get a little weekend off. But what's your preparation to start this stretch run through January?
I really told them, like last night at halftime, I said, you have to come out and want to play right away. So if we come out and play right away and not dig ourselves a 5, 10, 15, 20-point hole going into halftime, that'd be ideal. I think we have the defense to stop it. It's just whether or not we can execute it. It is going to be a dogfight, but we played Monty tough for 3.5 quarters. We played Sully tough for the second half. Like, we just have to put 4 quarters together. And, I mean, we do good things when we play well, obviously. But, it's just about not getting tired and keep moving the ball and finding the open girl and getting back on defense. So, I mean, I have a game plan. I'm not really going to share it, but, yeah, I'm ready for it.
Yeah, so again, three tough games in a row. When you look at that, anytime they have that little number next to their team, obviously they got some skilled basketball players. So then you go from there. You got BGM also next week, and then as we talked about with Pekin boys, Pekin on Saturday of next week, a matinee game. That's here at Sigourney, correct?
Yes.
So you're traveling to North Mahaska. And then 2 home games, BGM and Pekin. So opportunity for you, those of you listening, if you haven't been out to see these girls play yet, get out there and watch them. As we transition out here, I guess I'll ask, how many of you stuck around for the boys game?
We all did.
Okay, everybody did there. Steve made the comment right after the girls game. He said, I don't know if it was on air or off air, but he said, he's like, this boys game, it's going to be tough to follow that up. And, of course, they did.
They followed that up. Yeah. Stealing our spotlight. Come on.
Similar thing, though. I mean, Linville Sully got out to, I think it was an 8-0, started the game with like an 8-0 run or something, and the boys just kept chipping their way back in there. And I guess Steve posted that final shot. And Coach Weber, you're watching that game. Also, you're still coach. You're a basketball coach. You're watching that game. What's your thoughts on that final play? Did the clock start on time or not?
So I'm going to be really honest. I didn't see it because I was talking. Surprise, surprise.
Okay.
I didn't see it. I had to ask somebody else what happened. But watching Steve's post, I think there's a clear way of when it started and when it didn't, but I'm not the ref. I'm trying to be friends with the refs, so no comments. No comments.
All right. We'll ask some of these some of the girls here. I mean, did you guys see the actual play out? What were your thoughts? I'll share my thoughts. I feel like the clock did not start until the first shot was taken, but clearly based on the video, the putback was in before the buzzer went off. But the home clock advantage. What did you guys see?
Well, I wasn't watching the clock, but I was watching the final play, and I think that he did get it off in time. So I think the basket did count, but I wasn't watching the clock at all.
All right.
I'd say, I think there was 3 or 4.
There's 3 seconds.
3 seconds. So I don't think, if you think about it, they're not going to get the ball in, and then the air time. I mean, it's a half-court shot, maybe a little closer, and then by the time it bounces off the backboard, you get it back up. I don't think it started in time. There's no way.
The clock started on time.
But nothing you can do about it now. It just sucks.
Devin or Addie, you guys got input on that?
Well, I obviously have a dad that's a coach, so
yes, he's in the video. I think his
and I think that the clock obviously had a big they determined it kind of, but I mean I think the shot counted, and at the end of the day they can't go back. So.
All right.
Yeah, I agree with Addie. You can't reverse it, but it's clear that you can't shoot and get a putback all in 3 seconds. So it just won't happen.
All right, and and those of you that didn't see it or you can't tell from the video after that had happened, the officials met at half court for a considerable amount of time discussing that, and
they're what they were discussing was how the heck are we going to get out of here?
Yeah, literally, yeah. They had dealt with me, and then they dealt with Zach and Mitch, and they were ready to go.
Yeah.
They were ready to go.
So I guess we'll ask. Or go ahead, Steve.
I got a question for Josephine. So you were doing the one move that was getting called as a travel.
Oh, okay.
So maybe you or coach can explain what are you doing? What are the referees seeing, and what are you doing that's causing whatever they're calling traveling?
Surprise! It wasn't a travel. I actually watched a film on that. Refs make mistakes, I know, but I watched it, and the ref, her explanation to me was, I thought she shuffled.
Which I didn't think I shuffled.
I also didn't think she shuffled, and neither did Craig. Neither did my fan base. But, like Bryn said, you can't change it, unfortunately, as much as I'd like to. It's not worth getting a technical over that. I mean, honestly, Craig told Joe, just keep playing how you play. They're going to realize it's not a travel. And if they keep calling it, then there'll be issues, and I'll get a technical for it. But, I don't think it was a travel at all.
Okay.
Either one, actually.
We're bringing up all these topics today that are controversial.
Yeah.
And then another thing I was going to point out, and I mentioned it during the broadcast last night, was, even after you guys came up just short in your game last night, the majority of the Sigourney crowd stood up and gave you guys a standing ovation. I mean, that the second half was just amazing, exciting basketball. So, I don't know. I missed the first few minutes of the interview this morning here, Josh. But, you guys played amazing in the second half, and nothing to be ashamed of last night. And just, keep your heads up and keep her going this season. So.
Thanks, Steve.
All right. Let's get a picture. I almost forgot to get a picture here. In 3, 2, and 1. Okay, that is Sigourney girls basketball. They are tagged in our post on Facebook, so make sure you follow the Sigourney girls basketball page. And, of course, we will have that Tuesday night game at North Mahaska. We've got a couple at North Mahaska coming up on Monday and Tuesday back-to-back, so tune in for that area basketball. Okay, you guys are good to go. Let's hear from our sponsors, AE Realty. Find your Iowa dream home with AE Realty in Montezuma. With unparalleled industry knowledge, experience, and local expertise, AE Realty is the Montezuma real estate expert you've been looking for. Whether you're buying or selling, AE Realty can help you get the best deal. You can find AE Realty at 321 East Main Street in Montezuma. Call 641-623-2639 or online at www.aerealtyinc.com. Schedule your next dental appointment with Dr. Dan Schuster at Oski Dental, 641-673-4845. They're accepting new patients. Oski Dental will file all of your insurance forms for you. They're a Delta dental provider. And Oski Dental is located at 902 South 17th Street in Oskaloosa. That's Oski Dental, 641-673-4845. We make smiles happen at Oski Dental. And we do thank Oski Dental. We thank AE Realty for being sponsors of our sports section here on Steve Shetler Media. Again, we are live each Saturday morning from Barnwired in Sigourney, Iowa. What you're looking at on the screen right now is our Steve Shetler Media basketball schedule. And, as mentioned, coming up on Monday, we'll have that huge North Mahaska versus EBF matchup on Tuesday. Sigourney at North Mahaska. And then the following week on the 13th, North Mahaska against Baxter, Pekin against Waco, Pekin against Fairfield, Sigourney against HLVTC. So, we're trying to feature as many area teams as possible this year here on Steve Shetler Media on basketball coverage. So let's take it back to Josh Clubb. And Josh is standing by with some of the HLVTC boys basketball players and Coach Dylan Springer. Josh.
All right. Well, we'll start this off since we don't We've covered one game for you guys. That was at North Mahaska, I do believe. You're in the South Iowa Cedar League. You're on the west half of the division, so not as familiar with this group as I am with the Sigourney or the Pekin group. So I guess we'll just start off by if you guys could introduce yourselves and maybe for the players, what positions you play and everything like that. But we can just start with Coach Springer.
Yep. Well, I'm Coach Springer. I'm an assistant coach at HLV now since we combine sports and stuff.
Okay.
And I'm also head JV coach. So.
Okay.
Yep.
I'm Jaden Smith. I just kind of a role player for anybody who needs a minute or two out.
Okay.
I'm Sean McCullough. I'm a starting shooting guard. I played low last night because one was sick, so
okay,
about anywhere I need to be.
All right, and then are both of you guys currently in Tri-County, or are you?
Yep.
Okay. So both Trojans here on the night. So, Coach, last night you guys were at English Valley, if I remember.
We were at home.
Or at
yes,
home,
we
but
did.
you
We
played
did play in
English
English Valley.
Sorry.
So yes.
And how'd the game last night go for this group?
I mean, ultimately it went well. We got the win, but there was a few in between quarters there. First quarter we came out pretty good, and then we kind of let up the defensive intensity. Second and third quarter gave up a few corner threes, and it was a lot closer than we wanted it to be. But ultimately we got the win by 13 points, so it's a good way to start the new year.
All right, and that's your first game of the year? Okay.
First game out of the break.
Yep. Thursday there was a few games around in the area, but not many. So first game, you're back. You're into the month of January. Month of January is a grind in the sport of basketball.
It's
you
a
have
long month.
3 to 4 games a week for the next 3 to 4 weeks before the playoffs start. So I guess what's your guys's what's your routine, if you will? Did you guys have a scrimmage over break? Did you just practice over break? And how do you get ramped up for the next 3-4 weeks?
Yeah, so we had some open gyms, a couple open gyms a couple weeks ago, and then this week technically we started practice back up on Monday. It was mostly just practice for us. We did have a JV scrimmage over at BGM for some of our JV kids to get their feet under them. But, yeah, we practiced Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, even with the snow. We got some practice in, so that was good. And then we had our first game Friday, so we keep the same routine. Practice is pretty similar. We always just keep with the same drills and stuff in practice, so we just try to get better each day.
All right. And for those, though, for the people that are tuning in that may not be familiar with the logistics of two schools combining for sports, what is the setup, if you will, for do you guys do all your practicing at HLV? Do you ever split time? Is there anything that happens at Tri-County? How does that all go?
Yeah, so right now that's still, fresh, but most of our practices do take place at HLV, but there is some times where we're double booked at HLV. Maybe they got a junior high basketball game going on, a wrestling tournament, so we'll come down to Tri-County. I'm from Twin Cedars.
Okay.
But yeah, from TC. But we'll come down to Tri-County and practice some days too, but most of our practices are at HLV at this point.
Okay, so yeah, this time of year that can certainly cause problems. Is it do they bus the players up there? Do they drive up there? You guys bus from the.
So we'll get out of school like 10 minutes early, just release, and we'll bus down there. It's just shy of a 30-minute drive, so it's not too bad. 30 minutes there, 30 minutes back. A little bit later nights on us, but it really doesn't matter to us really because it's just a great partnership right now because we got a lot of kids out, a lot of kids working hard, and we just keep getting better each day. So, and you had touched on earlier about if we're going to have games at Tri-County, we will have at least one game at Tri-County.
Okay.
We have a game against Seymour later on in the year at Tri-County.
Okay, well that'll be nice for the players like yourselves that is your home school to actually have a game there. And Tri-County. I'm actually a Tri-County alumni, so I'm very familiar with it. I am, so I familiar with that gym setup and everything like that. But let's look back at the first half of this, or it's not really the half. It seems like it's the first half of the season, but the November and December time frame, the first month of the season, we'll call it. You guys are sitting about 500.
We're right back to 500 right now.
Yep, right back to 500. So decent start. You're on the west side of the conference. 3 pretty tough teams on that side with Montezuma, North Mahaska, and Linville Sully. Just year in and year out good basketball teams. So I guess what are some of the challenges you guys have overcome to start the season, and are they progressing to what you envisioned? And as the season goes on, because basketball is the sport where the regular season, the games matter, but at the end, but everybody has a chance at the end to run through the tournament.
That's right. Yeah, but it's been a much different experience for us this year because usually Tri-County, I mean, we're usually bottom of the conference. We try to compete, but we always, fall short. But this year, we actually have a lot of great athletes around us and a lot of competitive athletes, and we're still learning to take that next step, what it takes to actually hold a lead and win games. And we're always in games this year, which has been pretty exciting.
Yeah.
But we just got to figure out how to put 4 quarters together, play as a team, and just keep getting used to one another. And it's been quite the process.
Yeah, and I can imagine it's a different feeling. It's the reason schools combine numbers get to the point where it's hard to be competitive when you have 6 people on your team and the other team's got 15. Especially in basketball, they're just naturally it's gonna be easier for them to win. They're gonna have more energy, a different array of skill sets to work with. So it's probably a great feeling to be in the games, be at this 500 mark. Most teams that maintain that 500 or just above usually have a win or two in the tournament, and that'll be a big experience, especially for your juniors and your seniors on the team that maybe haven't experienced that. So that's great. Let's just transition a couple of the players here and just ask some general questions. I'll start with you. I'm terrible with names, so I already forgot your names. I'm sorry. What's I guess speaking to combining with HLV, what's the team chemistry like with the kids that go to a different school than you? Are you guys starting to, now that you're 2 sports in, are you starting to blend together better and getting to know each other and building relationships with the kids that go to HLV?
Yeah, it's pretty good. We've had track, baseball, football together the last 2 years now, so we're getting to know each other a lot more, and the chemistry's building up a lot better, and it's good for us.
All right. So then does that probably turns into, as I said, friendships where you're probably spending time together, not competing in a sport, it goes a long way when you're competing for a sport because you build that natural chemistry and you just know how the person's going to react. And so is that a thing that you guys are starting to, long enough now that you're starting to hang out like on the weekends or spend time together away from school in sports?
Yeah, there's a couple of HLV and Tri-County boys that'll get together and hang out on off practice or on their own times, and I think that's good for the team as well.
All right. And I guess again, general questions. So far, this first month or so of the season, what's been your best memory of the season thus far?
Beating Colfax, actually.
Okay. I think Coach wants to put his input in there.
My favorite memory is the BGM game. Not for great reasons, because we came back from like 13 points down with like 2 minutes to go in the game. We took it to overtime, and we actually ended up winning the game. So that was a pretty high energy game for our fan base, our team, and our coaches. So it's a pretty fun memory.
And that probably along the same line of what we just talked about with the Sigourney teams. Both those teams were way down when you can come back and you guys were on the winning side of that. So that's even sweeter. But even to get yourselves back into that game as a coach, you just feel great about your players because they're bought into you. They're not quitting on you. They're gonna fight all the way through. So I can see why that would be your favorite moment thus far, to see them finish that and get the win. And I'll steal Andy McGuire's question for you guys. So what is your warm-up jam? How do you guys have a separate warm-up jam that you do on the way to HLV and then one that you do on the way to wherever you're going or at the gym, or?
Not really. We're just all talking to each other and having fun with each other. We don't really listen to music or nothing like that. Yeah, there's occasion. Yeah.
Nothing like that.
Really have. It wasn't until last night that we had warm-up music even on the court.
Okay.
So, everybody's just kind of doing their own thing.
Mm-hmm. Doing their. All righty. I guess with that, Steve, you got any?
One question for Coach Springer. Now, your wife, Marina, is also a girls' assistant, right?
She is.
Now, do you guys home life. Do you guys meet yourselves coming and going with your schedules like that?
Well, we actually enjoy having the same schedule because during the fall she would coach cross country, and I would never see her because she'd always be at cross country practice, especially since you have to drive to HLV now and you're not home until an hour later. But I actually really enjoy being on the same schedule with her. We find people to help us take care of our pets at home.
All right.
We'll eat Casey's every night, and then it's just fun to be on that same schedule with her and see her all the time. But,
and I know she sings, of course.
Oh,
now
of course,
Marina,
yeah,
Marina,
sings.
a fabulous singer. She's
Yes.
been on my music show before.
Yep.
And she's got a big national anthem
Tonight.
appearance. Oh, it's tonight.
Tonight.
Yeah, give that a shout
Yeah,
out.
She is singing at the Iowa Wolves game tonight in Wells Fargo. It starts at 6:30. She sang there before for the Barnstormers. She sang at the Knoxville Speedway. She sang for the Iowa Cubs, and she sings locally all around town too.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
she's really great.
So if you're watching the sports section, make sure you follow Marina Springer because she's got her own.
She has her own
music
Instagram, has
page,
her own
yeah.
Facebook, has her TikTok, anything Marina Springer.
Yeah.
You'll find
So,
her. She's
very
released
talented.
music on Amazon and iTunes, a couple songs. So.
This has suddenly turned into a music show.
Yeah, just a little bit, but she deserves it. So.
All right. But yeah, we appreciate Marina and appreciate you guys coming in on this cold Saturday morning. Again, some of the Tri-County folks that combined with the HLV Tri-County basketball team. Appreciate you guys coming in this morning and taking time to visit with us.
Yeah, thank you, Steve.
All right, you guys are good to go. Josh, thank you for filling in as host this morning.
You
And
bet.
I will
get away
sing-
from you, Steve.
Yeah, you can't get away from me. We're going to see each other Monday and Tuesday next week. So that'll do it for the sports section. Again, the Saturday mornings live from Barn Wired in Sigourney at 119 East Marion Street on the south side of the square. We'll see you next week here on the sports section live from Barn Wired.